Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm here with a new layout for Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2019 June kits. And I'm going to be making a very bright layout today using lots of colors. I just can't help but use all the colors because they're just all so pretty. And I've got these two color photos of me and my youngest daughter just being silly one day, taking cute selfies, and I printed them in color. Because I want to kind of play on the black in our shirts and incorporate a lot of black elements on this page. And I wanted to try to do that without making a black and white photo. And I'm going to try to use this cute pineapple cut file that's part of the July cut files. And I wanted to use a lot of these Vicki Boutin stickers and chipboard stickers that are the long horizontal, sentences and sentiments and things that have black in them, because I think my last three layouts using these kits, I've kind of shied away from a lot of the black elements, and there's a lot of black in the kits, and so I wanted to try to incorporate lots of that. So my thought behind using this pineapple was both of, I don't know if you remember in the pictures, but me and my daughter both have our hair in like these high little buns, and it just reminds me of pineapple. And so I thought I'm going to use the pineapple and sort of incorporate it into our hair in this layout. That may be kind of far-fetched, but it made sense in my mind, and I think it turns out kind of cute. So I wanted this pineapple to be very colorful, so I went through and backed all the little areas there. I love how that turned out with all kinds of the pattern papers, tried to get all the rainbow colors in there. And for some reason, I don't know, I looked at the pictures and I thought, our hair kind of looks like a pineapple. And I saw that pineapple cut file and thought, pineapple hair, don't care. Yeah, let's go with that. And so that's kind of where this started. And since I want to have the photos and the pineapple up on the top of the layout, I wanted to have lots of color on the bottom half of the layout. So I thought I would do paper strips. And so this is a fun thing to do if you want to use up some of the barcodes on your pages. So on some of these, I'm slicing off the barcodes. Some of them are just parts of the actual paper, but I wanted to try to pull in a lot of the colors that are in the pineapple. So yeah, it's going to be another rainbow variety of colors. And again, I'm going to incorporate some of the black. And these are a mix of Heidi Swap Color Fresh papers, the Vicki Boutin color kaleidoscope papers. I think it's just those two collections. Now I pulled out this light pink cardstock from the cardstock kit. It's called Tutu Pink. It's very soft. I'm going to use that as my background, and I'm just going to start to kind of play around with ideas here and start to layer up some of these strips of paper and just see how it looks and see if I like it. And this is also going to give me a good opportunity to incorporate some of those Vicki Boutin strips that are nice and long, because I haven't used any of those yet. And sometimes those are hard for me to use because I wait until the end of my layout, and then once my design is finished, I realize that I don't have enough room or it just doesn't work. And so I thought I'm going to start with an idea that will encourage me to incorporate some of those long horizontal pieces. And so I thought paper strips would work good for that. So yeah, I'm just going to start to play around and see what looks good. And I kind of like the idea that I had there. So I moved everything, and I'm going to do some mixed media on the background here first. So I'm going to use some white gesso and just use my palette knife to smudge it down to prep the paper. And this is going to allow me to add lots of water and liquids to the background. So I let that dry, and then I pulled out some of the Lindy's magical powders that we got in the color kits this month, and this color is Summer Lovin' Sun, and it's a cross between orangey, orange and yellow, I guess. It's very, very bold, as you can see. It's perfect for a summer page. It's that perfect sunshine color. And you can make it as bold or as light as you want. You can see how bold it was as soon as I added that water to the powder, but the more water I add and the more I let it spread around, it softens up. And so that's the beauty of these powders, is you can make them as dark or as light as you want. It just depends on how much you dilute it or how much powder you use. So I like to just dump some of the powder on the page, just a little bit, add some water, and then start to just turn the paper this way and that way. I don't know, that's been my thing lately, where I just, I did use a little bit of the packaging technique there, but I go through phases where I try one thing and like it and stick with it for a while, and then I'll go back and do something else. But I wanted a big chunk of yellow on the layout, so that is why I just kind of added all that water and let it run and spread. So in this little open space here, I thought I would add some of the blue. We also get this in the color kit, and it's called Azure Sea Asters. And I am going to incorporate a little bit of shimmers from past kits just to add some color variation. Added a little dot of Well Blue Me Down there. That's more of an aqua color, and I'm just blending it together using the water, using the brush, my finger, trying not to let these two colors overlap because I want to try to keep them separate. And based on the design, where the photos and the paper strips are going to go, a lot of this is going to get covered up, and you're just going to see this showing through everything, just through the cracks of the paper strips and then around the top of the photo and stuff. So it's going to be very subtle in the background at this point. The pink that we got is called Hottie Patati Hot Pink, and so added a pink splotch area there, and then I'm going to come back in with some shimmers just to add some variation. I'm using mustard seed, and also the dark pink color is called Pink Stilettos, and we've gotten all these in past color kits over the last year or two. I know I've said this a lot, I always get the color kit because 9 times out of 10 the colors just continuously coordinate with the next month's kit or months down the road, and so it's perfect because the more color kits you get, the more stockpile of mixed media goodness that you have to work with. And so yeah, it always seems to just kind of work together, and it's fun to mix and match the different shades of blues and yellows and pinks. And yeah, I hardly ever just use one color. I have to kind of add in some lights and darks. And so that's all I'm doing here, is just adding in some shimmers, adding some splatters, dabbing a little bit of that up, and I let this dry. Look how cool that turned out. I love how that yellow looks. So I actually don't even want to cover this up. This always happens to me when I make a background that I, initially say I'm going to cover this up, knowing I'm going to cover it up. I wind up really not wanting to cover it up. I don't know, but it's going to get covered up, and it's okay. So anyway, I'm going to start to work on everything now. I decided to put the two photos together and then tuck the pineapple kind of underneath the photo there where you can see it, sort of as just a big giant die cut. And then I'm going to kind of work in the paper strips here, not perfectly straight. I want them to be some longer, some shorter, some have torn edges. But like I said, you can see the mixed media through it. So the background is not just solid. Because I want to add, some different colors and things of interest to the background. So I'm going to make sure these are straight. Of course, I keep hitting it. It goes crooked. But I'm going to start to glue down the paper strips because I know that's going to be another part of my background, basically. So I'm going to start to glue those down. I don't want them touching. Like I said, I want the background to show through a little bit. So I got all those glued down, and then I decided I need more pink up at the top. So I'm going to continue to do that, and because the pictures and the pineapple wound up covering up too much of the top area, and so I didn't feel like I could see enough of it. So I'm going to come back up with the pink, and now I like how that looks. And I still continue to work on the background as I go, so it's definitely still not finished, but for now it's finished. Okay, so I'm going to add some tissue paper behind my photos. I just like to do this to add a little layer of something behind the photos. And tissue paper is subtle, it's easy to tear, it's easy to cut, and I like that it doesn't look perfectly straight. And it just gives a little bit more of a separation between the photo and the background. And it's just something I like to add to it. In this case, that's the only thing I'm going to add behind the photos. I'm not going to layer any other things behind it because I've got so many other colors and patterns going on, and I've got that nice yellow behind there. So I feel like that's good enough. I did add some adhesive foam behind the photos to raise them up off the page. Okay, so now I'm going to start to work on the Vicki Boutin stickers. so many of these nice big horizontal pieces that I have not used yet. So now I'm going to get a chance to use a lot of those. I'm also going to use this little half circle piece that says "That Smile." Oh yeah, I took a break, came back, decided I need to machine stitch. So I used black thread, stitched through most of the strips. Sometimes I did a zigzag. I do wind up cutting off those little strings on the end because at first I thought that I liked them and then they just started to get on my nerves. So I'm going to cut those off. But I like the extra pop of black that gives. And machine stitching is awesome for adding texture and interest and detail on the background. Alright, so I'm just playing around with placement of these big long sticker strips. I'm going to use that one that says "Loved Beyond Words." I'm going to use that craft colored one down at the bottom that says "Every Picture Tells a Story." And then the pink one here that I keep moving around. At this point, I started thinking, where's my title going to go? I wasn't sure if I wanted to use any of the thickers that we got in the kits because they didn't really match the colors. And then those holographic ones are so big. And I didn't want to add something really big on top of the sentence strips. Not sentence strips, the paper strips, because I felt like I wanted those to show, you know. So I went through the Heidi Swapp sticker book and forgot that there were some small alphas in there, and I thought these were perfect. So I'm going to use these hot pink ones to create the title up here to the right of the pineapple. And it takes me a while because they're very sticky, which is great, but I kept getting them crooked. So there's the title, Pineapple Hair, Don't Care. And I love how that looks right there. I love that pop of dark pink. I'm tucking in some lime green thread right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down the pineapple and the photos and things like that. Things that I know I don't want to move. I'm going to go ahead and get those glued down. Yeah, I totally forgot that there were alphas in that Heidi Swapp sticker book, and they're the perfect size, and they're very sticky, which is great because you know how things sometimes don't want to stick to gesso. I didn't have to add any glue to those, so that was awesome. So I haven't used the Heidi Swapp stamp set either, so I'm going to use that in a couple places on this layout. I stamped "Favorite Moment" above the word pineapple. Okay, here's where I decided to go back to the background. I felt like I needed some more of that yellow down at the bottom, so I go back to the Lindy's powder, that Summer Love and Sun, add some more of that down at the bottom, and then I go back to gluing things down. Sometimes, like I said, I just bounce all around layouts. Whatever I see needs to be done at a specific time, I just do it. Here goes another stamp. This just says yes. And yeah, I just look at an area and I think, okay, I need to do this here, I need to do that here. So it's just my brain is scattered all over the place. And yeah, I don't realize that when I'm making the layout. I realize that when I'm watching myself right now doing this. I feel like it's so all over the place, but in the end it gets done, and lots of fun was had when I was making it. So I guess that's all that matters, right? All right, I'm back to the Vicky Boutin stickers. I'm going to add this little Made Me Laugh chipboard piece, an arrow sticker up at the top, actually two arrow stickers, one's chipboard and one's a sticker. I wanted to bring in another piece of that craft color up at the top, so I added that little polka dotted arrow, and I wanted something in that area by the title. I go back to the sticker book from Heidi Swapp, and I'm going to use a couple of these vellum stickers, but before I use them, I'm going to stick them to some white cardstock and cut them out so I can move them around, and they're going to stay their true color, because sometimes the light vellum, you can kind of see it changes the color if you stick it to something dark. Okay, here's where I go back to the background. I decided that those paper strips were just too nice and neat, and I needed to mess them up a little bit. So I did that, of course, by adding some gesso, and then I'm gonna just come in with the pink and smudge some color over the strips. Hopefully that doesn't make you go, no! I know a lot of you say that when I start to get messy, you cringe and you say, don't do it. But I did it, and I think it turns out okay. I'm just gonna basically add color on top of, not all the sentence, why do I keep saying sentence strips? I'm not a teacher. I don't teach sentences. Sentence strips. Paper strips. I'm coming in with the pink, I'm coming in with the yellow, I'm coming back in with the blue. I like how it turns out. It's okay. You know me, I have to be messy. I have to be messy. It's just in my blood. I can't create a very clean layout. I love looking at clean layouts. I honestly love clean layouts, but I physically cannot make one, and I don't know why. I'm just a weirdo like that. Those are all the little Heidi Swap stickers that I stuck to cardstock and cut out over to the left. I'm going to use all of those here in just a minute. I do want to glue down this last little sentence strip that I used at the bottom. I'm finally going to glue it down, but I am going to add some black thread behind it and then start to play around with these other stickers. Where are they going to go? I'm going to use those two little hexagon pieces up by the pineapple. I don't even know why. I just like the way they look there, and I like the pop of yellow that that gives. And then I'm going to use more black stickers here from the sticker book with cute little sentiments on them. And I just keep going. That sticker book, I tell you what, it's awesome. I never want to pack that away and forget that I have it, because it's got something in there for just about every layout. It's got everything. Love it. Here's one more sticker. I stuck it to cardstock. It's the XOXO sticker. I cut that out, and I'm going to use it, I think, on top of the green strip. And here I'm just going to glue everything down. Some things I'm adding foam behind. Some things are going to stay flat. But yeah, I'm just going to glue everything down, which is boring to watch, but it's got to be done. Yeah, there's the XOXO. It's on top of the green strip. And then I'm not done with the sticker book. I wanted to add a little cluster of something down here at the bottom, trying to pull in some of those bright colors. Now I've got the craft color and I've got the yellow, so I wanted to bring in something pink, something blue, and something lime green. So I just created a fast little cluster down there with some of those word stickers. And then I added this one from the Vicki Boutin sticker sheet. Almost done. I'm going to add in some lines down here at the bottom with a pencil, and then use my black fine tip Sharpie to write in my journaling. And black was perfect for this because there are lots of pops of black going on throughout the page. And then I wanted some dimension, and I had thought about doing this the entire time but waited until the end. But I'm just using my fingernails to ruffle up and rip up, tear up a little bit of the edges of all of these paper strips. And then black splatters. That is going to be the last thing that I do. And that's another shimmers that I've had for forever that's just a solid black. But had a hard time photographing this. That light pink background almost looks white. Every time I use that as a background, it never photographs right. But there's the final layout. Here come the close-ups of all the colors and all the texture. And I love how this turned out. I know this video was longer than normal, but I didn't want to cut out a lot of the process because, you know, that's the whole point of a process video. So hopefully it wasn't too fast. But I love all this dimension and texture and color, and I hope this inspires you in some way. I hope you got some fun ideas to try on your next layout. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions at all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great week.